You ever had seen one of those cartoons where you've seen it so much as a kid that you forgot about it when you were an adult and it was shoved into the back of your mind? Or have you ever seen a very, very old cartoon that has scared you as a kid and you forgot about it? Well, it's not long until this guy brought it up and said, "Hey, remember these cartoons?" Well, I was thinking I should do a couple of videos talking about those forgotten cartoons or very scary cartoons. We're going to analyze how cool they are and how dark they are, or forgotten and really creative it was. So, we're going to be taking a trip down memory lane and look at forgotten tunes, strange adult humor, and other tunes that I cannot remember of, or any movies too. So, let's take a look at forgotten tunes. I'm going to hell. Judas and Jesus was released in 2009. It's right up there with King of Fools back in 2004, which I did a video on that. Although people say that it is something that they felt like they shouldn't be watching at all. And it is made by the same company, Toons, along with Distant Dreams. And it was directed by Olaf Anchi and Claudia Romero. And apparently, there's several videos that have been made about it, but not a lot of people know about it. So this is a forgotten tune, or nobody knows where it was, where it came from. It doesn't stream anywhere else but YouTube. But it only has one clip that is available to look on YouTube. So, yeah. Now, the tune starts off with this classic, Disney cartoon where it's like Incarnatoons or What Carnatoons or whatever. And it sings the song. And we start off with the birth of Judas and Jesus. Title card. So, and it shows Anno Domino, which is 00000. So what I can gather from my information is that this was the year that those two guys were born. Judas was born on Christmas. Most people believe it. And one thing, there's three men that come in, and what they do is that this is a good joke, but a clever joke. They get a Christmas tree from their sacks in a present there, and they put the Santa Claus hat there. So that's a pretty good joke, saying like, oh, we don't know if Judas was born on Christmas or anything like that. And then we go to a couple of guards, and they're walking by this. It looks like a haunted mansion, but then we see the pentagram symbol, and we see an entire hallway full. Okay, I'm not kidding. Full of these naked women. And it's actually Satan's harem. This is going to be one of the weirdest things I've ever seen. But apparently, this is the birth of Judas. He was born in Satan's harem. And apparently, this girl, not going to lie, but I'm going to sound like a creep here, but she's kind of bad. But anyways, so she walks out with scissors, and we see Satan here. Satan, body look here looks like buff. And he sounds like Elvis Presley. So, should I be concerned? Yes, I should be concerned. And apparently, she goes in and sees a bunch of women helping this girl, well, it's one of Satan's lovers, give birth to Judas by using blood from, I cannot say that, or else YouTube will kill me for that. But anyways, Judas is now born. Literally. And he's basically, sounds like a gremlin combined with an angry baby. So he's like, wakes up in a sour mood, and then he's surrounded by tits. And he's being breastfed by them. Oh, lordy, 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 lordy. Then we skip by 7 years, and apparently this guy is 7 years old. Is Satan's harem full of pedophiles? Nah, I don't think so. So anyways, he's basically... So, like, there's 3 stereotypes in this cartoon. There's a Judas who's the bad boy, who's been raised in a very, very toxic environment. And then there's Jesus. Jesus is actually the golden child, or so how he perfects himself. He's the perfect child. He's the golden kid. He's a Miss Perfect, but a boy. But he's also a goody-goody, as we can see him in the class. And he's like... I mean, it's his child version, so he's basically a goody-goody. And then comes, probably some people would say the best character, but also a cursed one. Maria Magdalena. Yes, they actually made the full name of this girl. And she is a little cutesy girl. And apparently Judas has a crush on her. And then Judas does a little prayer, and Judas is not happy about it. So he's like... It's like the whole thing's like, oh my god, this guy's so boring. Let's go something cool. And then a bunch of sheep. Now, in the classroom, it's clever because every single time we see a sheep, the name is sheep, 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 sheep. And then we get Judas Christus, not Judas, it's Jesus Christus, and Judas, and then Maria Magdalena. So apparently, the sheep start attacking because of Judas's influence. And we get something that people would say, foreshadowing. Foreshadowing alert. So apparently he's hanged just like he was in the crucifixion of Jesus. So basically this entire cartoon is based around the crucifixion of Jesus. So there's probably going to be a lot of offensive stuff here. And if you're a Jew or anything like that and this has hurt your feelings, click out this video. But if you're not, keep watching. Because it's going to get nuts. So, some time passes by and we go to 16 years old. I'm sorry. Repeat me if I'm wrong. But why in God's green earth are they 16 years old? What? Apparently, okay, here's my issue with here. 1, Maria and Judas are smoking. Do not smoke. That is an illegal health hazard. And, Judas is like, yo, celebrate world peace. Well, it's kind of like that, but still, yeah. And then we see something that's just not right. Judas drops a bunch of photos, and Maria is like, oh my god, this guy's a pervert. So she leaves him for Jesus, and he gets mad. And then we skip toward the 30. So they're 30 years old, and we cut to Judas eating at a pizza restaurant, which, by the way, I feel like this is just me eating at Papa John's or Power Pizza. But anyways, so we go there and then we see Judas. It's like the recreation of the last meal of Judas. I mean, not Judas, Jesus. I keep getting it wrong. There's going to be probably a lot of misspelling saying which one is Judas, which one is Jesus. They're both J and J. So, Maria shows up and... Damn! Well, I don't want to say damn because people are going to say that's weird, but oh boy. So apparently she shows up and she's late. Let me guess what she was doing. Fucking other guys. Yeah, I see her, that little bitch. So apparently they're having a prayer and then Judas comes out of nowhere with his pizza. And then we get a little recreation of the commandment. Thou shalt be ashamed of thy human anatomy. I'm talking about you, Maria. So, Judas is not happy about that. So, he does a little bit of a Mexican standoff, which, by the way, if they do a Mexican standoff, I would really love the trio music to be in the good, the bad, and the ugly. That would be epic. So, apparently, he throws his pizza at Jesus, and I don't know if this is red liquid or this is blood coming out from the bottle, but a lot of people would say it's inappropriate. And then Maria actually starts to have a crush on Judas. And that night, Jesus comes into his room and he whips himself. So I think this is tied into religion history where every time when you do a sin, you whip yourself. You like slap yourself on the back, which, ow, that actually hurt. So basically, he does that, I think, every single day. And so does the other sheep. So this is basically tradition, religion, stuff like that. And also, fun fact, Judas still keeps the photos that he had when he was 16. So yeah, if Maria would have saw that today, she would still think of him as a pervert. And then he goes to Maria's cabin, and oh boy, she has a snake plushie in her room. On what planet does she have a snake plushie on her bed? I don't know. It's just a cartoon. Who knows? So she goes out, and Judas follows her. Then Jesus is like, oh, hell nah. They ain't sinning. So Judas sees Maria at a swinger club, and goddamn, he sees what's inside. But the cost to get in is about 30 pesos. So here's a bit of a clever joke. He looks there, and he looks at the Jesus poster, which is about 30 pesos. So he's like, wait, I know then. He sells him out. He goes to a guard, whispers to him, and he's like, yo, I will tell you where not Judas. I will tell you where Jesus is if you give me 30 pesos. And he's like, and the guard's like, fuck it, I'll do it. But you forgot some of the stuff there, Judas. You forgot to get some coins there. So then he goes into the swinger club, and we see Maria on a sheep. Again, a lot of people would say that this is a forbidden cartoon that we're not supposed to allow, but I'm telling you this, okay? I'm telling you this as a warning. So Judas is like, he's like praising Maria as like a guy. He's like, yes, take me, ravage me. And so she like reveals her tits. And Judas is so obsessed with it that he literally lifts up the sheep, goes up to Magdalena, and literally just boom, boom. And then Jesus comes out of nowhere. And I just love the fact that every single sheep is basically just the audience reaction to this entire short. And so I think there are actors in it, but this is a silent cartoon, so there's no like talking or anything. It's just voice lines being spoken in German. Because again, this is a German production company. So the guards come out of nowhere, like, Judas Christus. And they snitch on him. And Jesus was like, guys, y'all are snitches. So then he's surrendering himself. It's like, I surrender to my God or our God. And basically he's taken and he's about to get crucifixed. Well, after he was taken away. That's funny. Judas does not care. He still wants to go with Maria. And he still does. So apparently he's crucifixed, and we got a little bit of a little joke there, like the wedding ring thing, and then like he gets nailed on the cross, and then there is a stage that is up there. I feel like this third act was kind of rushed. I think this third act was a little rushed. The sheep are like, oh no, Jesus has died. It was all because of Judas. Did you guys snitch on him at the swinger club, or is that a different pack of sheep? So they go in there, they get Judas, and he's running like a dog. But one thing, how the hell is he supposed to outrun an entire flock of sheep that, I don't know, it's a cartoon. It's like the chase scene from SpongeBob, or like how they zoom out and the crowd is just basically just like a whole section of stuff. So they capture Judas, they hang him up, and the entire credits was just him dangling from like the noose. And at the end of the credits, he dies. Then Maria comes out completely distraught. Oh boy. And then she rubs her down there, I'm supposed to say, and literally her skin turns entirely red. There's horns coming from her head, and her tits. And basically summons an entire like Hydra dragon Judas, and literally burns all the sheep and goes out into the night. Should I say good for her, or should I be concerned that this entire cartoon is meant to literally say that, oh, sometimes religion is boring, we got to the cool stuff? But to me, personally, religion is cooler, but it's sometimes has its flaws. And I get it. I get where they're coming from, but you didn't have to go too extreme. So there you go. That's Judas and Jesus. Arguably, it's more weirder than King of Fools. Personally, when I saw this before, I kind of laughed, but also didn't know what to think of it. People would say this is a weird cartoon. To me, it's not really fun, but it is funny. There are some clever jokes in this cartoon. But all in all, it's still the same thing as King of Fools. So, why I have to say, Judas and Jesus was released in 2009 and is forever probably going to be a distant dream or a nightmare for other people.